Hi everyone, my name is Duodenal. Thanks for coming on my channel. I wanted to talk about my decision to have DS or duodenal switch surgery. I am 43 years old, a mother of 3, and I've struggled with weight most of my adult life. The first time I had any weight issues, I was 12 years old, and then my dad noticed that I was gaining a lot of weight, and around 7th grade summer, he and I started running together. I actually became addicted to running. I loved it, and long distance is better than short, which was good. And by the time 8th grade started, I was down to a size 1. And so I kept doing that. I ran all the way through high school and was a size 3 or 118 pounds upon graduation. I went to Utah for college, and I sprained my ankle the very first weekend I was there. I was used to flat Florida roads when I ran, and in Utah everything was very hilly and mountainy, and I sprained my ankle right away, and I stopped running outdoors. So then after I recovered, I started using like the bike or elliptical, and I never really found a passion for working out in a gym. Didn't really enjoy it, and little by little I was gaining weight. Fast forward the next summer, I actually got married, and at that point was weighing 135 pounds. I was 19 and a half. And then another year later, I was pregnant. So our oldest, we have 3 children. She's now 22 and a half. But when I was pregnant with her, I think I was a size 10, size 12, somewhere around that range when I found out I was pregnant. And then when I actually had her, I was up to a size 18. And I weighed in at 200 pounds the day that I gave birth, and she was a cesarean section, and I had a hard time recovering after that. Then got on some fen-phen, that miracle drug that all my friends were taking, and they were losing weight on. That there was a very strong appetite suppressant. Anyhow, as soon as I decided to do that, because I was really desperate at that point, I stopped nursing her. She was only a month old, and a few days into being on that medication, it was actually pulled off the shelves for heart problems. I guess it was making people's heart rate too high. So I really regretted that decision. I really thought the most important thing that I could have done was focus on my baby and to nurse her all the way through that first year of life, which I didn't get to do. Anyhow, I regret that very much. And then let me see. So I kind of maintained that weight, she was about 9 months old, and I lost about 25 pounds doing a food combining diet. My mom, flew me out to her house with the baby, and she cooked for me, and she wanted to get me, off on the right foot. And so it's one of those diets where you can't combine meat and starches. So I did fine. I lost a lot of weight in 5 weeks, 25 pounds in 5 weeks. It was actually quite remarkable. And when I got back home, I kept it off for a tiny bit, but then I remember thinking, I just want an egg and sausage and cheese sandwich. I want my meat and my starch together, and it became something that I just thought I couldn't maintain. Then let me think. Then about 3 years went by. I had stayed at the same weight, and we got pregnant with our second daughter. And I want to say by the time she was born, I was around 240. She was also a cesarean section. And then I think she was about 18 months old, and then I went on a no-carb diet and very vigorous working out. And I lost 55 pounds in 8 to 10 weeks. It was kind of remarkable. I went from a size 18 to a size 10, 12, depending on what I was wearing. And at that point, I think I got down to 159 pounds. And that was really nice. I kept that off for about a year. Then I started a new job, and I was back in school. And little by little, I just stopped working out as much as I had been, and I stopped eating, right. And I slowly gained the weight back over a period of a couple of years. Then we moved across the country for my husband's promotion. And I thought this was a good opportunity for me to try to find a way to get healthy and also to have another child. I really wanted more. And so about 6 months later, get pregnant with our third, a little boy. And at that point, I was 34 years old. And I remember weighing in at, I think, 250-ish pounds when I went in for my first appointment. And I was really worried about gaining so much weight that I would hit 300 pounds. I was really afraid of that. I was also worried about getting gestational diabetes. They monitored me for that, and they thought I was on the bubble. So I decided to try being vegan during my pregnancy. I read a book it was an audiobook called, I think it was called Skinny Bitch Bun in the Oven. And it was these vegan cookbook authors who were also mothers. And they were talking about why being vegan was the best choice when you were pregnant. And I read that, and I honestly felt like they had enough science back to back it up. And I became obsessed. So for the next 6 months of that pregnancy, for the last 6 months of the pregnancy, everything that I ate was either raw or organic or vegan. I was predominantly about 75% raw. So I can tell you that from experience, I never felt better. I had great mental clarity, tons of energy. I never had congestion. I remember with my first 2 pregnancies with my daughters, I would get single nostril breathing during the pregnancy. I could never just breathe clearly. But it's funny how that didn't happen at all when I was vegan during that pregnancy. I also never swole. My feet never got swollen. My ankles actually was very comfortable during the pregnancy. And it kept my weight gain down to 24 pounds being vegan. When he was born, I want to say, I'm trying to remember, but yeah, I think I weighed in at 270 something. But anyway, and then as soon as I got home, I had lost the baby weight, I guess, and was pretty much back to my normal size when I had gotten pregnant within just a month. So I had every intention of staying vegan after that. But he was also born cesarean section, and I didn't have anybody feeding me vegan food after he was born. And I remember getting home and just feeling like I really was hungry and I needed to eat something, and I couldn't really move. So people from my church were really nice, and they brought wonderful meals for my family. And really, because I had no other choice, at least I felt I didn't. There was no fast food restaurants that delivered healthy food. We lived out in the country of North Carolina. I ended up thinking, well, I'll just get back to being vegan after I'm done recuperating from the surgery. But that day never came. I never felt like I could do it again. I don't know. It was the tastes of the protein, the dairy, the fats, the sugar, the salts. I'm really not a sweet tooth person, but those savory, salty, fried type things were kind of what I became addicted to very quickly again. Let me think. So after having him, I never got lower than that. That was 250, 259-ish. And then we moved a few years later to a different city in North Carolina, and I started a new career, and it was a desk job, which I'd never had a desk job before in my life. And it was very stressful, very demanding, very deadline-oriented, and it's sales. So I'm sure all of you who work in sales know what that's like. Fantastic company, though. Love where I'm at, and I wanted to keep my job. But they would do these health screenings every 6 months, and I was there 6 months on the job when I had my first biometric reading, and that's when they told me I was pre-diabetic. I was right under the marker for that, and to keep my eye on it. But I gained probably about 40 pounds, 45 to 50 pounds over the course of the next 4 years with this desk job. And every time they did the biometric screening, I was further and further down into the diabetic spectrum until I was full-blown diabetic last December, which is really just 4 months ago. I had an 11 A1C, and my blood sugar was over 320, which is, very dangerous. That was the first time that had happened. I had been kind of in the 7s, the 7-8 range before that. So luckily I already had my path to duodenal surgery, in motion. We had a couple setbacks with my surgeon's office kind of dissolving and then merging with another health system. And during that time, we had to start over from scratch. And so what would have normally been a 4-month journey turned into a year. But I'm happy to say that in December I reconnected and got back in touch with him, and was able to start seeing him again, and it's been like clockwork ever since. My blood panels came back and everything was good, except my liver enzymes were a little bit high, and pretty much that and my A1C being high were the only big concerns. I do have sleep apnea. That was diagnosed about 3 years ago, and I do sleep with a CPAP machine, and I have pretty religiously ever since I received it, which was a game changer. It really did help me get quality of sleep, which I know that's important, and people die from sleep apnea and related diseases all the time. So I'm glad that that was being taken care of. But for me, the reason I chose this huge, I guess, commitment, it's a big change going from being a self-proclaimed foodie, amateur chef. I tried out for Master Chef. I was consumed with food way too much. And my dad even warned me. He's like, if you look at all your Facebook postings over the last several years, they're mostly pictures of your food. And he was right. He's absolutely right. Like, I think about food way too much. And, if I'm going to go on a vacation, I'm picking a place that has a good restaurant. I'm getting reservations in advance to a nice restaurant. And, I'm ready to I don't want to say break up with food because I need to eat to survive, but I'm ready to have that kind of an obsessive relationship with food be over. And it's really hard to break those old habits, but I know that I need to find things to distract myself, to get myself excited so that I don't sit around on the couch just bored and, craving food. So that's kind of why I decided to start a YouTube channel where I can document my journey. I'm going to have before and after pictures, of course. Right now I'm in the pre-op phase, so I've got to have a 2-week liver reduction diet, and I'm in day 3 of that 2-week diet, where my surgeon has me doing 2 protein shakes and 2 protein snacks, and 1 lean and green meal, which is a lean protein about the size of your palm, and then about 3 handfuls of vegetables that are non-starchy. And I'm really grateful for that meal because I really don't like protein shakes, but I know I'm going to have to kind of get used to that. My heaviest weight was last summer. It was 308. Right now I am 283. I was 288 last time I weighed myself at the surgeon's office, which was about a week ago. So I think being on the protein shake diet for the last 3 days and then limiting my sugar so drastically is obviously the reason why I'm losing weight that fast. What else? Let me see. So my surgery date has been set for April 5th. I'm going to be taking that weekend off in the hospital. I'll be in the hospital, and then I'll come back Sunday afternoon. And my plan is to work from home over the next 2 weeks before I go back into the office full force. Besides that, I don't have any trips planned until the end of May. I have a wedding of one of my favorite clients, and I really want to be there to support her. I'm hoping by then I'll be able to buckle up the seat belt in the airplane without needing an extender, but that may not happen yet, but I'm excited for the day when that does happen. I'll be really excited for the day that I can cross my legs again. It's been years since I've been able to do that, and I just can't wait to do that. That's like one of the big wins that I'm looking forward to. Used to be a makeup artist. I'm really into skincare, makeup, cosmetics, hair care, all that stuff, and I am aware that I'm going to have loss of skin elasticity, which honestly years ago did keep me away from wanting to do gastric surgery, which I was just very worried about having my skin lose its elasticity, and also worried about thinning hair. But I've watched so many of your videos on YouTube, some of these other experts, or people who've been through it, I should say, and they all say it's still worth it, even with those hang-ups. So that's kind of where I am right now. That's the kind of me in a nutshell. I love my job, and I want to be able to be healthy and still maintain it for years to come. And I'm excited to be a grandma in the next few years. Our oldest daughter is married, and she's looking to start a family in the next couple of years. So I just want to be around for them. What's the point? I work so hard just to die young. I don't want that. I don't want that to be the legacy for my children either. And my oldest daughter is thinking about having the surgery if all goes well. So I have that extra incentive to do a really good job and follow all of the behavior and lifestyle changes so that I can be a good example for her, and that hopefully she'll feel confident enough to do the surgery as well. Besides that, I hope that you get to know me a little bit better and feel comfortable with me and can reach out to me, and that I might be able to answer some questions from my experience as I go under the surgery, and come out of it. But I'll have other postings as well, and I'll introduce you to my surgeon, Dr. Scott Bovard, and he's with Wake Med Bariatric Specialists in the Raleigh area, but his office is based out of Cary. And we'll just stay in touch, I guess, and I really hope to have a phenomenal success and be one of the many people who think that duodenal switch was a life-changing operation. So thanks so much for spending some time with me this Sunday afternoon. Today is March 24th, 2019, and I'll be posting videos, a few more before I actually go in on April 5th for the surgery. So talk to you guys later. Bye.